A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News on TV1, live and direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. Bringing you the news, I'm Joadabin.
And I'm Rochelle Timodra. Let's start off with a look at our headlines for tonight.
President appoints new Inspector General of Police. IGP introduces new WhatsApp hotline to receive information from citizens and officers. 2 gunmen allegedly used in crimes by Pillayan and Inya Bharati arrested. Pasdilipa murder plot in Minuangoda goes awry. Suspect involved in shooting of former Homagama councillor arrested. Former Minister Piyasena Gamage summoned to the Illegal Assets Investigation Division. Retired Admiral Ulugetanna remanded until the 27th.
And on to those stories in detail. In your top story this evening, President Anurakumar Dissanayake has appointed Attorney-at-Law Priyantha Veerasurya as the new Inspector General of Police, following the recommendation of the Constitutional Council.
Attorney-at-Law Priyantha Veerasurya was officially appointed this morning as the 37th Inspector General of Police of Sri Lanka, receiving his letter of appointment from the President's Secretary Dr. Nandika Sanath Kumar Nayaka. He is the first Inspector General of Police in Sri Lanka to have served in all 3 ranks of Police Constable, Sub-Inspector and Assistant Superintendent of Police before assuming the post of IGP. A new WhatsApp hotline has been introduced for the public to directly communicate their concerns to the Inspector General of Police. Accordingly, the contact number 071-859-8888 is open for the public to communicate their concerns. Through this number, the public can send messages, videos and photos directly to the IGP. Police officers too may use this number to report their grievances. However, the police headquarters has clarified that voice calls will not be accepted through this number.
A suspect who allegedly served as the main gunman in several murder incidents allegedly carried out by former State Minister Sirasa Chandrakant alias Pillayan has been arrested in Patiklo. Additionally, a close associate also believed to be the main gunman in several murders allegedly carried out by Inya Bharati has been arrested in Colombo. Both arrests were made by the Criminal Investigation Department.
According to the police, it was revealed that the suspect arrested in Colombo is linked to several incidents, including the murder of the chairman of the Tirukkovil Pradeshya Sabha. He was arrested while attempting to obtain a fraudulent passport. Former State Minister Sirasa Chandrakant alias Pillayan and former Provincial Council member Inya Bharati, who is also an aide of Pillayan, are currently being held under detention orders at the Criminal Investigation Department.
Former commander of the Sri Lanka Navy, Nishantha Ulugetanna, has been further remanded until the 27th of August. This order was handed down after he was produced before the Polgahavale Magistrates Court today.
On the evening of the 28th of July, Nishantha Ulugetanna was arrested by the Criminal Investigation Department in connection with investigations into the abduction and murder of an individual in the Pothuhara area. Nishantha Ulugetanna reportedly served as the head of the Navy Intelligence Division in 2010, the year the incident occurred. Police revealed that the illegal detention center where the abducted person was held operated under his authority. Police said that investigations were conducted based on a letter sent from the detention center by the individual in question several days after the abduction. Multiple suspects had previously been arrested in connection with the incident.
Case file.
Former Minister Piyasena Gamage was summoned before the Illegal Assets Investigation Division today.
The former minister was summoned to deliver a statement in connection with an investigation into alleged illegally acquired assets.
Former Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Janakasri Chandragupta, was summoned before the Criminal Investigation Department today.
The former secretary to the Ministry of Health was summoned before the Criminal Investigation Department today in connection with an investigation regarding a person who posed as a public servant through an appointment letter allegedly issued under his signature. The Criminal Investigation Department said that a statement was recorded from him regarding the relevant appointment letter.
Former Deputy Director of Prison Health Services, Dr. Hemantha Ranasinghe, who was arrested over bribery allegations, has been remanded until the 19th of August following an order issued by the Colombo Additional Magistrate Manjula Ratnayaka earlier today.
The suspect, taken into custody by the officers of the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption, was produced at the official chamber of the Colombo Additional Magistrate today. During the hearing, Assistant Director of the Bribery Commission, Sulochana Hettiarachchi, on behalf of the Bribery Commission, stated that the former Deputy Director of Prison Health Services was arrested for allegedly accepting a bribe of 300,000 rupees. The bribe was reportedly taken to continue holding an inmate at the Valikada Prison Hospital without transferring the inmate back to the Busa prison after treatment. Court.
Your Honour, in 2024, an inmate from the Busa prison was admitted to Valikad Prison Hospital due to a medical condition. After receiving inpatient care at the prison hospital, instead of transferring him back to the Busa prison, the suspect allegedly requested a bribe of 1.5 million rupees to keep the inmate hospitalized and continue treatment. He reportedly received 300,000 rupees from the inmate as per the inmate's request to remain in the hospital. Later, a relative of the inmate deposited 300,000 rupees into the suspect's bank account. Your Honour, investigations into the incident are ongoing under the provisions of the Bail Act and Section 122 of the Anti-Corruption Act. We plead for the suspect to be remanded.
End quote. The attorney appearing on behalf of the suspect denied the allegations, stating that his client never solicited any bribe. Court.
The complaint against my client was made by the wife of the inmate named Amia Sankar, who is a prominent drug trafficker. While receiving treatment at the prison hospital, the inmate had a mobile phone in his possession, which he allegedly used to carry out drug transactions from within the hospital. My client opposed these activities. This is why the inmate's wife lodged a complaint with the Bribery Commission. At no point did my client request any bribe from the inmate.
End quote. After considering facts presented by both parties, the Colombo Additional Magistrate ordered for the suspect to be remanded until the 10th of August.
An attempt to assassinate Dileepa Lakmal, also known as Pas Dileepa, in the Minuwangoda Yagodamulla area was foiled this afternoon. Now, according to Newsfirst correspondents, the assailants arrived wearing outfits resembling police uniforms.
Two men had arrived at Pas Dileepa's residence in Yagodamulla, Minuwangoda this afternoon on a motorcycle. The assailants had arrived wearing outfits resembling police uniforms and carrying handcuffs. The assailants had questioned who Pas Dileepa was and had attempted to open fire when another person at the scene had attacked the firearm with a plastic chair. At that moment, the cartridge of the firearm had disengaged and fallen to the ground. Following the first failed attempt, the gunmen had run towards the road and attempted to open fire once more. However, the cartridge has once again disengaged from the weapon. The attackers fled on the same motorcycle they had arrived on. Police stated that the motorcycle used by the assailants was later found abandoned in Rabdulugama Siduwa.
The Kadwala Magistrates Court today ordered a suspect arrested in connection with the murder of a former Homagama Pradesha Sabha member Shantha Mudunkotwa to be detained for 7 days for questioning. The arrested suspect is the driver of the vehicle in which the gunman had arrived. This suspect was arrested yesterday at the Palamtuna junction, Batramulla, while driving the vehicle. Police said that a pistol was also found inside the suspect's vehicle. As investigations are ongoing to locate the gunman, the Thalangama police has submitted a request to the Kaduwela Magistrates Court seeking permission to detain the suspect for 7 days for further questioning. Accordingly, Magistrate Bandara Ilangasinghe granted approval for the request. The suspect, who is now under a detention order, is scheduled to be handed over by the Thalangama police to the Colombo South Crime Division. CCTV footage from a lodge where the suspects had reportedly stayed prior to the shooting is now under scrutiny of the investigation teams. Shantha Mudunkotua, the former Pradesha Sabha member of the United National Party, was killed in a shooting carried out last afternoon along the Artigala Road in Migoda. He was shot by a group that arrived in a motor vehicle while he was on a motorcycle. Shantha Mudunkotua, a resident of Vataraka Padukka, was 46 years old at the time of his demise.
News First with the people.
The inaugural ceremony of the Himikama National Program to issue land deeds was held today. The event was attended by the Minister of Agriculture, Livestock, Land and Irrigation, K.D. Lalkantha.
The ceremony was held at the Palai Mahavidyalaya in Kilinochchi, falling under the purview of the Palai Divisional Secretariat. Under the initial phase of the Himikama land deed program, 50,000 beneficiaries are said to receive land deeds and permits this year. Accordingly, those who have been occupying lands under the Land Reform Commission or unregistered land will benefit from the program. A special feature of the program is that the beneficiaries will be awarded with a freehold deed.
There are land that belong to the Wildlife Department, and we know very well that some lands where you lived, cultivated and worked have been gazetted under the Wildlife Department. People send us letters and come to meet us, claiming that during times they were not present, these lands were taken over by the Wildlife Department. The government will work quickly to resolve these issues for you. Full attention has been given to this. Next, you claim that the Department of Forest Conservation has also taken over your lands. This happens here and also in the south, in Hambantota and Monaragala. Our farmers claim that the Department of Forest Conservation has taken over land that they had been using for cultivation. We have taken necessary steps to resolve those too. Up until now, land issues in this country have only been resolved for leaders who came to power with the public's vote, not for the general public. The first government to prioritize solving the problems of the general public over politicians' problems is the government of our President, Anura Kumara Dissanayake. There has been a saying that the law does not apply to the big fish but only to certain others. This has been the case for some time, but now you can all see, hear and feel that for the first time in Sri Lanka, the law is being enforced against the big fish who looted public property. Now, as the law is enforced against politicians who plundered public wealth and oppressed the people, they are all uniting and plotting to overthrow the government of the National People's Power, or rather the government of the common people of this country. But they won't be able to do it because the general public are with President Anura Kumara Dissanayaka's government. That's our greatest strength. Therefore, we will fully carry out every task that needs to be done for you, because this government is your government. The Inter-University Bhikkhu Federation staged a protest opposite Isirupaya in Batramulla today.
The Inter-University Bhikkhu Federation staged a protest today, voicing their opposition to the newly proposed education reforms. During the protest, they voiced their concerns that to date, no official documents detailing the government's proposed reforms have been presented. Although the group requested a discussion on the matter with the Education Minister and Prime Minister, Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, their request was not successful. The protest lasted for about an hour, after which the group dispersed, stating that they would take further action on the issue in the future.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposits. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability. A trusted place for your fixed deposits. Valuable FD, 10.25% for 15 months, 11% for 24 months. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability.
We have sessions in cardiology, we have sessions in pulmonology, we have sessions in rheumatology and in nephrology.
When the readiness of these institutes to connect for connecting and then come into this digitalization process is challenging. Then the infrastructure, manpower and the skills, what is required.
Saw 2 downward tariff revisions, and then we saw that the CEB actually recorded a net profit of about 144 billion rupees.
The economic potential that exists for trade between India and Sri Lanka, to my mind, is still vastly unexploited.
But we need to know now how much is the damage, to what extent is that environment ruined.
Welcome back to the news. The government is planning to increase Sri Lanka's export earnings to $36 billion by 2030. A discussion on the challenges and solutions to achieve this target was held today, led by the President.
The second meeting of the Export Development Cabinet Committee was held today at the Presidential Secretariat, headed by President Anurakumara Dissanayake. The President's Media Division stated that the discussion focused on several key points related to the development of the export sector. Attention was given to the development of the gem and jewellery sector, streamlining customs procedures, tea export development, spice exports, the export hub concept and the development of Trincomalee Port. The President's Media Division added that the meeting also discussed increasing export-related investments, supplying raw materials to the electronics export sector and compliance with tariffs and agreements. The discussion further highlighted the export of pharmaceuticals and poultry products.
The Institute of Internal Auditors Sri Lanka, also known as IIA, hosted its 10th National Conference in Colombo today. Redefining internal audit, driving strategy in a complex world, the conference featured over 400 heads of internal audit, compliance officers, risk leaders and independent directors. The event was attended by Chairman of Securities and Exchange Commission and Senior Professor of the University of Sri Jawardhanapura, Professor Harindra Disabandara, as the chief guest.
I would like to acknowledge the Institute's contribution to promoting good governance, accountability and the not only in the private sector, including the public sector. And it is totally a voluntary effort rather than any kind of push or regulatory push. And as I mentioned, I think your internal audit profession, as I mentioned, based and moving towards the strategic enabler. So therefore, beyond compliance, now you are looking at the risk management, and then you can say strategic advisors in risk management, cyber security as President mentioned, and ESG, digital transformation. So those are some of the new areas under your scope and your direction. So if we take your organization with my entity, Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka, I think we are having some kind of understanding, and we have discussed certain development initiatives, especially in relation to listed companies. Even if I take my own organization at the moment, we do badly need a service of internal auditor. So I think one of the members here will join us, and please submit your application. And we discuss the importance of internal auditors at the regulators level several times. I think there's a vacuum to be filled. I think we need to enrich this profession from the grassroots level. That means university system. We must address the university system, and we must inculcate a sense of internal auditing into the syllabus. It's a paradigm shift from just compliance to strategic movements.
The conference reflected the evolving and increasingly strategic role of internal audit in today's dynamic business landscape.
Nobuko Munidasa, a prestigious Ikebana master, celebrated her 80th birthday with a special Ikebana exhibition held in Colombo today.
An Ikebana exhibition was held today to mark the 80th birthday of renowned master Nobuko Munidasa. The event offered a rare glimpse into her lifelong journey in one of Japan's most revered art forms.
Ikebana, the Japanese art of flower arrangement, is more than decoration. It is a philosophical practice rooted in balance, line and space, reflecting mindfulness and harmony with nature.
Here I'm nearly 50 years and I'm not teaching at all, but I wanted to know how Japanese Ikebana, then I think more than learning, to see and learn is the best. That's why I started, I think first time 1988, I started exhibition, and so sometime every year I used to do. This is after a long time I did, and I wanted for everybody to see what is Japanese Ikebana.
After moving to Sri Lanka in the early 1980s, Nobuko Munidasa introduced the island to the elegance of Ikebana through exhibitions and personal instruction. Her work has had both artistic and cultural impact, helping to build a lasting bridge between Japan and Sri Lanka.
The UNP's Navin Dissanayake says Minister Wasantha Samarasinghe must resign from his position for breaching the collective responsibility of the cabinet. This follows what he describes as a contradictory clarification made by the minister regarding a previous statement issued by the Prime Minister on the Supreme satellite transaction. Minister Wasantha Samarasinghe responded to the growing criticism on the matter in Mannar today.
The Prime Minister made a statement regarding the satellite project linked to Rohitha Rajapaksa. According to her, as the country's second citizen, she emphasized that no government or public funds were used for this project. She also noted that significant revenue from the project has flowed to the BOI. The following day, Minister Wasantha Samarasinghe issued a statement claiming that the Prime Minister's statement was entirely false. He should have discussed this matter at a cabinet meeting before public statements, since it has now breached collective responsibility of the cabinet. Because of this, we clearly demand that he should resign. An investigation is underway regarding the accuracy of the information provided to the Prime Minister and the officials responsible for providing it. This is because it is the responsibility of those officials to provide correct statistical and documentary information when responding to the Prime Minister. If the information is inaccurate, discussions regarding the issue naturally follow. During the economic debate held on Friday, I personally clarified the points concerning this matter. Our responsibility is to provide accurate information to the public. We recognized at the time that there was a question about the accuracy of the information given to the Prime Minister. She informed me then that the data had been provided by officials and therefore further investigations would continue. Accordingly, we provided the necessary answers on the following day. Some are now expressing disappointment once their plans went wrong. They are asking where the satellite is. It is not in our orbit. There is also a Supreme Sat 12 satellite sent by China. It might be in their orbit. The space allocated for us in orbit is what has been handed over to a company, if at all. Many issues have arisen through this. We threw one stone, but many have been alerted. Many matters which were to be concealed will also be revealed through this.
On to your news overseas, a Bloomberg report has reiterated that as India and China try to revamp their political ties, they are set to resume direct flights as early as next month.
Air connectivity between India and China had been on hold since the COVID-19 pandemic. During that time, travelers had to pass hubs like Hong Kong or Singapore. However, the Indian government has asked airlines in India to be prepared for flights to China on short notice. According to a Bloomberg report, an official confirmation could come as soon as the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit at the end of August in China. The change comes as relations between India and US have hit an all-time low after US President Donald Trump doubled the tariffs on India to 50% as a penalty for buying Russian oil. Air India announced on Monday that it would suspend its direct link to Washington owing to operational factors. However, the airline still flies to New York and San Francisco. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to attend the SCO summit from the 31st August, where he may meet Chinese President Xi Jinping. Per the report, Air India and Indigo could restart flights to China. The discussion regarding resuming flights between the two countries had just opened in January when a conflict between India and Pakistan shut off the countries again. European leaders are scheduled to hold online talks with US President Donald Trump today, hoping to convince him to respect Ukraine's interests when he discusses the war with Russia's Putin in Alaska on Friday. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has invited Ukraine's President Zelensky, as well as the French, British and other European leaders and the heads of the EU and NATO to an afternoon video conference. Ukrainian President Zelensky is joining European leaders in talks aimed at increasing pressure on US President Donald Trump to side with Ukraine during Friday's summit with his Russian counterpart in Alaska. Merz's office said the conference call would discuss further options to exert pressure on Russia and preparation of possible peace negotiations and related issues of territorial claims and security. They are then expected to talk to Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance in a second round of the conference call. The Trump-Putin meeting on Friday, their first since Russia launched its full-scale invasion on Ukraine over 3 years ago, is so far planned to go ahead without Zelensky. This has fueled fears Kiev could be forced into painful concessions, including over land. EU leaders stressed yesterday the inherent right of Ukraine to choose its own destiny, adding that the international borders must not be changed by force. Zelensky, speaking to reporters on Tuesday, ruled out withdrawing troops from the Donbas region, which Moscow claims. The talks would include leaders from Finland, France, the UK, Italy, Poland, Ukraine, the heads of the European Commission and Council, and the Secretary General of NATO, as well as the US President and his deputy. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, French President Emmanuel Macron and Merz are then also set to hold a round of talks of the so-called coalition of the willing of Ukraine's military backers.
On to more international news. Gaza City has come under intense air attack, the territory's Hamas-run civil defense agency has said, as Israeli forces prepare to launch an operation to take over the city.
According to a spokesperson of Hamas-run civil defense agency, the residential areas of Zaytun and Sabra had been hit for 3 days, causing massive destruction to civilian homes, with residents unable to recover the dead and injured. Meanwhile, the UK, EU, Australia, Canada and Japan has issued a statement saying, quote, "Famine is unfolding in front of our eyes," end quote, and urged action to reverse starvation. They demanded, quote-unquote, immediate, permanent and concrete steps to facilitate the entry of aid to Gaza. Israel denies there is starvation in Gaza. It has also accused the UN agencies of not picking up aid at the borders and delivering it. The joint statement also demanded an end to the use of lethal force near aid distribution sites and lorry convoys, where the UN says more than 1,300 Palestinians have been killed, mostly by Israeli military. Separately, the World Health Organization yesterday appealed to Israel to let it stock medical supplies to deal with a catastrophic health situation before it seizes control of Gaza City. The agency's representative in the Palestinian territory said, quote, "We all hear about more humanitarian supplies are allowed in. Well, it's not happening yet, or it's happening at a way too low a pace," end quote. Israel's war cabinet voted on Monday to take over Gaza City, a move condemned at an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council later that day. Yesterday, the Israel Defense Forces said it was, quote-unquote, at the beginning of a new state of combat. On Sunday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel's forces had been instructed to dismantle the quote-unquote 2 remaining Hamas strongholds in Gaza City and a central area around Al-Mawasi. He also outlined a 3-step plan to increase aid in Gaza, including designating safe corridors for aid distribution, as well as more airdrops by Israeli forces and other partners. On the ground, however, residents of Gaza City said they had come under unrelenting attack from the air.
Coming back to some local news now, the Marine Environment Protection Authority says there has been a significant increase in plastic and other waste materials entering Sri Lanka's marine ecosystem from India, carried by monsoon winds. According to its chairman, Samantha Gunasekara, large quantities of waste have accumulated in the coastal areas of Manna, Jaffna, Kalpitiya and Negombo.
The chairman of the Marine Environment Protection Authority stated that waste material of goods produced in Chennai, Kerala and Kanyakumari are the ones accumulating in Sri Lanka's coastal areas. He pointed out that bottles, nets and ropes produced in those regions have been piling up in Sri Lanka's coastal regions. He stressed the need for both parties to collaborate on finding a solution to this issue. The Ministry of Environment has also launched a special investigation into the matter. Deputy Minister of Environment Anton Jayakodi said that discussions will be held with India on this matter in the future. In Delft, Jaffna, a large amount of plastic waste has washed ashore, and the Jaffna District Marine Environment Protection Authority engaged in a clean-up to clear the area today. In Mana, plastic particles have washed ashore in coastal areas from South Ba to Santipuram, Tawalpudu and Olei Toduai. The washed-up plastic particles were removed by the Marine Environment Protection Authority. Meanwhile, plastic particles have also washed ashore along the coast of Negombo. More plastic particles have washed up along the coast from Chilau to Kalpitia in the Putlam district. Fishermen report that they are facing great difficulties as a result.
இதுக்கு முதலையும் எக்ஸ்பிரஸ் கப்பல் எரிஞ்சு அதில் இந்த தூவலால் இல்லை இந்த நாட்டுக்கே தெரியும் இந்த ஆமைகள் மீன் இனங்கள் எல்லாம் அழிஞ்சு போச்சு. அதனால் இந்த மறுபடியும் இதே மாதிரி ஒரு பிளாஸ்டிக் தூவல் ஒன்றும் வந்திருக்கு. அதை என்னென்னு சொல்லி இந்த அரசாங்கத்தால் என்ன செஞ்சு இந்த நடவடிக்கை ஒன்று எடுக்கணும்.
We wrap up our news tonight with some delightful news for kite flyers.
And with that, we wrap up your news for tonight. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Happy headlines. All set for the Sirasa Magic Kites Festival. Application submissions will close tomorrow at 12 noon. Get your kite ready for the Sirasa Magic Kites Festival 2025. Happening on the 17th of August at the Panadura Beach Park. A range of exciting competition categories including the largest kite, the smallest kite, the most creative kite, the most colorful kite and the kite inspired by Sirasa programs. Valuable prizes for winners. Register now by sending your name, age, address, contact number and competition category through WhatsApp. Here is the number 071 799 7788. Just send a photo of a handwritten note with these details through WhatsApp and that's all you need. Bring your kite and head to Panadura. Don't forget, applications close tomorrow at 12 noon.